The story about Zaccheaus is one of my favorite childhood stories. Whenever somebody asked me to tell them a story, I would immediately tell the story of Zaccheaus with pretty much every detail. And the reason is, of course, I sometimes identify myself with the Zaccheaus size, especially when I'm in front of the Archbishop. But the other reason is this story involves one of my favorite childhood activities, climbing the trees. I would climb all sorts of trees. We have plenty of coconut trees, sometimes 20, 25 meters height. And I would climb all those trees just like a monkey. I would climb to pluck the trees, sometimes to play, sometimes to read, do my school homework, so many activities. But one thing I learned from my tree climbing is that climbing up is difficult, but climbing down is very scary, frightening. I recall sometimes, I had to jump up in order to catch hold of the lowest branch of the tree and then, force myself on top of the branch and then branch by branch make my way up. And I just used to focus on the branch that was just above me. But while coming down, when I looked down, the distance from where I was and the ground, that frightened me. And those branches, those obstacles, they used to frighten me. I would prefer to stay there on the tree rather than come down. In today's story of Zaccheaus not only he represents someone who was eager to see Jesus, curious to see Jesus, but he also represents someone with a lot of shame, with a lot of fear, with a lot of guilt, embarrassment. He was curious to see Jesus, but he did not want Jesus to see him. He was very comfortable on that tree. Luke says in the story that it was a sycamore fig tree. That detail is very important in that story because Bible scholars say that sycamore fig tree, it produced lateral branches, very strong and widespread. So perfect place for someone to hide, to camouflage. And Zaccheaus liked that place. He could hide with all his shame, fear, guilt, and embarrassment. But what amazing thing happened was the surprised look of Jesus at Zaccheaus. Otherwise, Zaccheaus would have been a silent spectator on that tree, and Jesus would have passed by without even entering into his life. Just a spectator. But it was the surprised look of Jesus at Zaccheaus that took this beautiful encounter. And then we know Jesus went to Zaccheaus' home and everything changed. Great transformation. This can happen to us. We come for Mass, we engage ourselves in prayers, many other spiritual exercises, and still we can be silent spectators, just curious to know Jesus or see Jesus, but not have that fruitful encounter. Zacchaeus was lucky because Jesus looked at him, Jesus saw him. But Jesus gives us an opportunity. What attracted Jesus to Zacchaeus was all his weaknesses: short stature, tax collector, sinner, man full of shame. Man wanted to isolate himself from the crowd. Man wanted to hide. That's what attracted Jesus. When Jesus saw Zacchaeus, he saw this side of Jesus, Zacchaeus. And that's something very beautiful. That's what we can take home today. Just our desire to see Jesus, to know Jesus, may not bring us to that fruitful encounter. What can bring us to that fruitful encounter is our struggling side. Our good side is very good for God, but our struggling side, our wounded side, is very useful for God. He can use it. When he saw Zacchaeus, he saw this side, and he told Zacchaeus, "Hey, Zacchaeus, I can use that side, that stuff. Today I want to come to your house for a dinner." And everything changed. Our wounds, our struggles, they are fertile soil for transformation, for fruitful encounters. Today we pray for that grace, the grace to bring our struggles to Jesus, not just to be spectators, but craving for those fruitful encounters with Jesus.